Good afternoon. I think that we are live with this happy hour talk number 2 in the framework of the Fabulamundi project. As the saying goes, one down, 4 more to go. It's a full week. It's a full week for Fabulamundi. We were hearing before we started that there's a lot going on also online, and one of our speakers today has been involved all day, with Fabulamundi online workshops, etc. Who has not been these days? Our days are sparse and with Zoom meetings, online meetings. And as I said yesterday, thank you very much to the consortium partners in Fabulamundi for inviting us all. And a personal thank you on my side for asking me to take on this moderation role. As again, I said yesterday, it's a privilege to be with you all. Thank you, the 4 of you, for having accepted to chat today with me and with all of us. It's going to be an hour. We have from now 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. To talk a little bit about Fabulamundi, indeed, but also hopefully about other things that might be of relevance in the framework of the work that you carry out, but also possibly in the framework of, well, what we're living through today. Because as cultural professionals, cultural operators, I understand and firmly believe that, there is a social and political responsibility from all of us vis-a-vis also the situations that we have to live through and in. So with, again, as I said yesterday, no further ado, let's go at it. Thank you to the 4 of you. Bernhard Studler, sorry if I don't pronounce all your names correctly, but it's a pleasure to have you here from the Wiener Wortstädter, right? And Victor Muñoz y Calafell, that one I can pronounce correctly because I speak Catalan as you do. So Victor, benvingut. You are in Barcelona. Sala Beckett, l'Obrador Internacional de Dramaturgia. So welcome. Both of you, Bernhard and Victor, are partners in Fabulamundi. So you have had, let's say, a very active role in hosting and working with the playwrights that have participated in Fabulamundi. And today we have 2, Elise Wilk, welcome, and Thomas Mann, welcome also to you both. And thank you, Hello. All of you again. I might repeat myself, but thank you for being here. As we did yesterday, I think that it's due to Fabulamundi to try to glean from you some of your experiences from your participation in the project. As we mentioned yesterday, it's not so much about, the project in itself, but what it has represented in terms of the development from an institutional point of view for Bernhard and Victor, for instance, but from a professional point of view, an individual point of view for Elise and Thomas, for instance. May I start maybe with Bernhard? I have to say that, they don't know the order. So if Bernhard is surprised, then he has a right to be. You have been the co-founder in 2005 with your colleague, I'm reading because I don't want to, unpronounce the names, Hans Escher of the Wiener Wortstätten. You define it as a research laboratory, I understand, and are very much into what I would say, and I have here in my notes, intercultural dialogue, cooperation, social issues, I understand as well. And it is your mission to provide a center for contemporary European drama in Vienna. I mean, Vienna is the city in Central Europe. You have, a history behind all this. So it is a challenge, I understand, that you took up in 2005 with this idea of promoting and supporting theater authors, also young theater authors in their professional development. So Bernhard, just please, again, I know that you told me before that you had heard you had listened, sorry, to the conversations yesterday. So, you know, maybe picking up from that a little bit on Fabulamundi and your participation in the consortium and in the activities of the project, and also your take on what the legacy of Fabulamundi is in the future and for the future of your theater.
Okay, so I will try.
That's fine.
First of all, maybe to correct a little bit, the Wiener Wortstätten, we are not the theater, you know. You said before, kind of a laboratory or place for playwrights, and it's an important point because that's the point where we started from. You know, was the main goal to support playwrights in their work, like starting from the first idea, bringing together playwrights in our little space, discussing themes, discussing topics, and the kind of special thing about that was that we had a lot of different cultural backgrounds. You know, all these authors coming from had, for example, a background from former Yugoslavia, or coming from Iran, or coming from Syria, or wherever, you know, and bringing together also all these different cultural backgrounds was very important for us, because it seemed to me and to my partner Hans, at that time we founded the Wiener Wortstätten, that all these different cultural backgrounds are not represented on stage in Vienna. So that was also a very important thought about, you know, this project. And now Fabulamundi for us was a big step towards growing and enlarging our international contacts and our network, because we were kind of focused on Eastern and Southeastern Europe in the beginning, and then it was moving a little bit more south and east, but we, with Fabulamundi and the invitation to take part in the large scale, we had the opportunity to get to know so many more playwrights, and it was like entering somehow paradise, because, you know, I had the opportunity to meet all of them in person. You know, I was traveling a lot, and I went to Barcelona, to Warsaw, to Bucharest, and so on, to Rome and Berlin, and I really met all these playwrights in person. So I met 80 of my colleagues, because I'm a playwright as well. So maybe that is, for me personally speaking, the greatest thing about this Fabulamundi is to have this personal contact and to know each other and to know about each other and our work and all the problems we have with our work and the kind of difficulties and the difficult situations, even before the Corona times. You know, it wasn't easy before, and now it's even more worse, but we try and we keep on working. So I think this exchange that we also had before the Fabulamundi between playwrights and the learning by discussing with each other, that was something that was kind of like the potential of this, having the discussions also in this, all these mock pro activities. You know, it's not only, Fabulamundi is not only about translating plays and reading plays or staging plays. It's also about this, you know, creating this active network. And maybe just to end up here, I just wanted to say, it was also mentioned yesterday, I guess, by Claudia, that we had this letter to support the Hungarian university. And it was an idea by a French playwright, Lancelot Tamila, and he wrote to us, and together with Csaba, and we really did a good job. I think at the moment, more than 100 European playwrights already have signed this letter. So it shows that we have a really active and interesting and working network. And that's something I appreciate a lot.
Thank you, and sorry for my mistake in saying you're a theater. Yeah.
You know, sometimes I would love to be a theater, you know, because it's always difficult to convince theaters to stage all these new plays. But basically, I prefer the version we have, actually.
And it's also, you know, I think what you might have brought into Fabulamundi is a different perspective. Yesterday, you know, we heard from the Teatro L'Odeon, so that's a national, you know, public theater. So I guess that also this mix of very diverse partnerships between public cultural institutions, companies such as PAV, but other typologies of organizations such as yours, and I would bet my right hand also as Sala Beckett, you know, have enriched that conversation that you were talking about. And I will ask you later on to expand on, you know, on why it has been paradise, but let's keep it for later.
Right, sure. Right.
Victor, the Sala Beckett is in Barcelona. I would dare to say that you are very close as an organization to Bernhard's organization, in the sense that you are also a laboratory. You create, you train, you experiment. I don't know if many people know that Sala Beckett is also part of the network in the city of Barcelona of art factories, las fábricas de creación, as we say in Catalan. But I think that, you know, from this perspective of being an element of a very clear, although I know complex public policy to support this sort of endeavor as Sala Beckett, I would like to know how you have played it with or thanks to Fabulamundi. So please, again, also your take on Fabulamundi and what it has brought to Sala Beckett.
I think it has brought a lot. So as you very well say, we are focused on contemporary drama, and we basically only produce plays by playwrights who are alive. But we are basically, we could say, a Western European theatre. And we probably know very well, or quite well, what's going on in France, in England, in Italy, probably in Germany. But I dare to say we didn't have any idea, or we scarcely knew what was going on in Eastern European theatres. And we knew very little of what happened in Poland, in the Czech Republic, or in Romania. We didn't know what playwrights were important nowadays. And for us, Fabulamundi, in this sense, has been extremely important, because it has made it possible for us to get to know a whole group of playwrights and a whole group of plays that otherwise we wouldn't have known at all. And in order to see the importance of it, is that we have had several stage readings during the process. And at the very end, we have decided to stage, we had to stage a play. And we have chosen not a play from France or from Italy or from Germany, but we have chosen a play from the Czech Republic that otherwise we wouldn't have known at all. So in this sense, the project has been extremely important. Now we have context in these countries. We know playwrights, we know plays, and that's really important. On the other hand, for us, it has also for us basically the sense of Fabulamundi is that it makes it possible for our playwrights to meet other playwrights. So the basic thing of Fabulamundi is that there is an exchange between countries, and a change of plays, of playwrights, and that these people who probably didn't know at all each other meet at some point and get new ideas and get to know each other, and maybe, who knows, plan things together, or maybe work together in the future. When we had the first meeting in Barcelona, I remember that after 3 days of working together, what the playwrights wanted to do is to work together in some project. So I don't know whether this will happen here or in any other country, but that after this meeting, playwrights feel the need or feel the desire to keep on working together. I think that's one of the best things that Fabulamundi has brought to this group of playwrights and to the theatres that are part of it.
Okay, thank you, Victor. I think that at this stage, it is due to underline the fact that we would need to thank anyhow and anyway the European Union for making this sort of project possible. It is, of course, an open process in the sense that one submits an application and has to imagine the idea of the project. But from what I have seen and heard about Fabulamundi, and because it has had, you know, a history, it is, I think, from the perspective of the European Union, the European Commission through the Creative Europe program of wanting to support this sort of project is something that has to be acknowledged, because what you're saying at the end of the day has been made possible. And I always say this because I'm not sure that, you know, we're all sufficiently conscious about it. This has been possible also thanks, you know, to European citizens, taxpayers' money. It is a return on investment from which professionals and organizations such as ours benefit, indeed in an open competition system and whatnot. But still, we have to respond to a public mission that is given to us, not only to manage correctly the money, but that what we do makes sense at the end of the day. And as you're both saying, it's about then taking on the responsibility of seeing how this work can be continued. It's not a given. And sometimes at the end of project cycles, there is a slight sense of frustration because, you know, you've built a lot of expectation and then you have to see eventually how that can go on. But my feeling is, and also from what you're saying, is that since Fabulamundi has been working for a good number of years already, it has really planted the seeds for things to happen, maybe, you know, in the future from each of you or some of you together. Life will tell, as they say, but my feeling is again that there has been a lot of positive work and that there is the sense that this work has had a meaning beyond the project's life itself. I would like to go on with Elisa and Thomas now, because they are, as I said yesterday, the jargon for this sort of project is that you have been the participants. There's the consortium, and then there's the activities, and then there are those that participate in the activities. You are the main characters of this play that has been Fabulamundi, because at the end of the day, it has also been a sort of, you know, play on stage, adapting to the reality. So I would like to hear from you, Elisa, first. I was very much touched by what was in your biography when they sent it to me. You are Romanian. You are initially, you know, your initial training is in journalism. You won very young in life, you know, a certain number of awards for your first playwrights. But I would like to focus on what you said about Fabulamundi, because your Green Cat was read in Rome first in 2013, and then in 2014 in Berlin. Always in the context of Fabulamundi, I understand. And from that, you had a call from a very important agent in Europe, which has taken you on board, and from which you have been able to develop further your career. And you say here, you know, and I quote, "I often think that without Fabulamundi, this beautiful journey would never have happened." Please unmute yourself, Elise.
Yes, so I'm in the program since 2013. So it was 7 years ago I got in the program. And by then I thought my plays are very, very Romanian. So I never thought of having them translated because I thought that nobody would be interested in such Romanian stuff. And then Fabulamundi showed me it's not quite like this. And so 2013 was for the first time when a play of mine traveled abroad. And it was also the year when I discovered, also through Fabulamundi, that I would like to be also a translator, because I'm German speaking, and now I really love to translate German plays into Romanian, and I translated also a lot of plays from Fabulamundi into Romanian. So it was for me also as a playwright, but also as a translator. Fabulamundi means a lot, means really a lot to me. And it was like this, that after this second reading in Berlin, an agency discovered this play of mine, and since then they are representing me. And on the other side, what I liked about Fabulamundi, besides this and besides what Bernhard said and what Victor said, so I don't want to repeat what they said, this with the connections, and that I got to know a lot of colleagues of mine, and not only playwrights, but also directors and other theater makers. What I liked about Fabulamundi was that I remember Claudia telling us one day that we can connect, we can find playwrights who have the same interests, and maybe make a project together, and that they are very open to these ideas. And that's how I discovered a playwright from Austria, Thomas Perle, and I discovered in the last year that he wrote plays with similar subjects, with a similar subject as a play of mine. I talked to Fabulamundi that I wanted to bring us both together and our plays, and show them, talk about them. And so I translated Thomas' play, and then we had this event together in Romania, in Târgu Mureș, and this was actually my idea, but I was very happy that Fabulamundi, they let me do this. So it was really a great experience.
Sorry, did I understand correctly? You translated a play by Thomas?
Yes, I translated a play by Thomas, and we showed at this event, we showed a play of mine who has almost the same topic. So we showed the whole production, and we also showed a reading of Thomas' play that I translated into Romanian, and then we had a talk about our writing and about the similarities, and yes, and I was very happy that Fabulamundi let me do this.
Thank you, Elise. Thomas, so can you expand from that? Let me introduce you before. You are Polish. We have a lot of different nationalities around the table today, but you are Polish, and well, you possibly have a longer professional trajectory than Elise, because simply of age. But you were also awarded very young award for plays, and you have had both roles, I understand. You write plays, but you have also been a theater director, but you have also been a professor of dramaturgy. So you have a varied career on your, in your knapsack. but I'm interested in picking up from what Elise has said, this moving from writing, Elise, to translating, to exchanging in this very safe context, which is Fabulamundi. Could you expand a little bit on that, Thomas, for us, please?
Hello. And my experience with Fabulamundi is a very good, because I first of all I met with college, what's at Bernhard, and I met many fine people from European countries, and I like very much this exchange of subject to what we write and what we write for who, where's the main problem to writing now. And I remember a very good meeting in Vienna with Bernhard's studio, and it was very invent me. In practical way, in Fabulamundi, I had a premiere in Primera in Cosenza, festival in Cosenza.
I know that.
Yeah.
They told me that you have a very interesting experience in Calabria, from where my father's family is. So yeah, let's talk about it. Yes.
I met them with very professional and nice people. And Emila Brandi was director of my text, 111. It was very, very nice experience, because I have been there 1 week, and we worked on each words. Each words I have to explain something, because my text was translating in Italian by English, yeah, and we have to we have to find this main sense of each words, and it was a very nice experience on stage. And in concrete situation, it was a premiere in festival. And second, a pragmatic way, as it was cooperation with Festival La Mousson in France, because I wrote there one scenes about food. And of course, Bernhard from Vienna, he inspired me to End of, the title was End of Tolerance. Yeah, and this text I think is waiting for premiere. But I like very much this meeting, because this meeting 10 countries in one language, yes, one languages, and one or nobody was English from England, I remember, but we are not from English language countries. But we find one language for our inspiration. Yeah, I like very much this this camp. For me, it's a camp for young.
Well, you know, when I spoke with the organizers, and they told me about this experience that you had in southern Italy, and in particular in a region such as Calabria. I was partly raised there and spent many of my summer holidays there. It's one of those forgotten Southern European regions that I love very much. So I think that, you know, you testify to the fact that everywhere we can find interesting and people and relevant professional experiences for us, even in the most forsaken sometimes, because Cosenza is, so it was a surprise for me to hear that. And I'm, well, I really like that very much, but it's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to hitch onto this idea, well, starting from the title, The End of Tolerance, and now speaking to you and to Bernhard. Let me put it this way, in the given context, I find that the title is very suggestive, in the sense that, are we indeed living the end of the age of tolerance, given what is happening around us? And what is your understanding, interpretation, take on this in our current situation? Could you say something on that, Bernhard or Thomas?
Yeah, of course. You want to start, Thomas, or shall I just give a short idea about the whole how the project started? Because it was one of these so-called MOPROs, the mobility programs, where each partner invites a playwright from all the other countries to come to Vienna and spend 3 or 4 days, and also to meet Austrian colleagues and Austrian directors, etc. But as we were preparing this meeting, we thought, okay, we have an opportunity, and we can maybe use it to create something new also among these playwrights. So we had 8 playwrights staying in Vienna, one from Catalonia, it was Josep Maria Miró, it was one from Romania, Radu Popescu, Tomasz from Poland, we had Lee Ferracchiati from Italy, we had Nathalie Fillon, who was in the talk yesterday, from France, we had the Austrian playwright Gerrit Steinbuch, and I think we didn't have a Czech one because he had to.
No.
So no, yeah.
No.
So we had together this group, and we thought, okay, what would be an interesting topic to talk about? And yeah, you know, sometimes you find something. You don't have to, no. And I cannot explain how the end of tolerance really came up, but somehow it was there, and I thought, okay, that's a good point of view. I forgot we had a Portuguese playwright as well.
Portuguese, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to bring these very different playwrights together and to discuss about this topic and what could it mean for them, and then also to start thinking about, is it possible to do some kind of a co-writing project among each other? And so we really had 4 intense days discussing the topic, moderated by François Materasso, and it was really interesting how, you know, these different, like coming maybe from the different backgrounds, but also from the experiences, because we are all like coming from different, not only backgrounds, but different age, and have different experiences in their writing. So what does the end of tolerance mean to each of them? And so we finally ended up this MOPRO with kind of commissioning short plays to each of the participating playwrights to write about the end of tolerance from their point of view. So it was totally open, so they could choose whatever they would like to write about, but, you know, with this subtitle, The End of Tolerance. And so we received then, I think 4 months later or 5 months later, all the different original texts, and had them translated first into German, so I could read all of them, because, you know, I'm not able to read Polish or Portuguese. And after that, we went back to the playwrights and had some discussions about the text, maybe some questions, and asked them to rewrite a little bit. And after that, we had the whole collection of plays, and the goal was to stage this as a full stage production. Fortunately, we could not manage this because of lower budget than we expected last year. So it's still, as Thomas said, it is still waiting to get staged, but At the moment, we start to work on at least a stage presentation of the play in November in Vienna. And there is also an English translation of all these plays. So we will also publish an ebook about the end of tolerance. And I think that's one of these, it's kind of a signature project for Fabulamundi for me, because we were able to say, okay, this is a starting point for a new idea. And what do we want to talk about? And what are we asking them? And I think that's maybe the second thing, as in addition to what you said, Mercedes, because one thing is you go somewhere in Europe and you find something. And the other thing is you have the opportunity to create something new, the place where you are. So.
But let me take it from there then, Thomas. I understand what it has all been about and how you have all worked together and what it has meant. And there is the possibility of going further. But as regards the title, The End of Tolerance, I not the 8 proposals, but what is, if you had to say, what is your bottom line, for instance, Thomas, what is your reading of this End of Tolerance? What did you write about? What did you talk about?
Can we read it now?
Well, we could read it, but I'm trying to, yeah. I just think that it's absolutely relevant, again, in the context that we're living in. There is an issue about tolerance all over. It is of, I mean, it's just what is happening. So I'm interested in, from a playwright, what did you say about this? I mean, it's a very strong statement, the end of tolerance.
Yeah, it's a very big subject. I'm writing only about love. About love. This is my main. I'm writing only about love. I don't know most important thing in this world. And my scene, End of Tolerance, is about boxing with love in family, in between husband and wife. Yeah, and yeah, because I like very much observe, behave people. And I remember that when I have been in vacation on Polish Baltic Sea with my family, I remember that a couple argue between, this is my, I don't know them, but a subject of this argue was why you hit my kid, our kid. Because wife screaming for husband, why hit my kid, our kids. Yeah, and I don't know particular things what happened with this couple, but I remember that my family, when we went to beach, we are talking about, because I have 3 children, and we are talking about what happened when I hit my kids. I never hit my kids, and this is my vision of ends of tolerance. When you hit somebody, this is a hit. This is an end of tolerance.
Thank you, Elise. Is there any thought on that regarding your work? I had understood that you're very interested in social issues as well.
I always forget I have to unmute. Sorry.
Yes, it's a drag. We all know that. Don't worry.
Yes, I was also always interested in social issues, and I think mostly all of our playwrights, our Romanian playwrights of Fabulamundi, are interested in social issues. I was very interested some years ago on topics for regarding teenagers. And then I moved on from that because a lot of time I was recognized as somebody who writes about teenagers, and I don't know. I think 3 years ago I decided to take a break from this, because actually most of my plays are not about teenagers. I don't say for teenagers, because in my opinion they are not only for them, they are about them, but that doesn't mean that they are only for them. And now I started to be interested. For instance, the last play I wrote, it's a play about my identity, because I never wrote. So I think I have 17 plays until now, and this is the only one about my identity, because I grew up in a family with a father coming from a with German ancestors, and my mother is Romanian, and half of my German family went abroad, and I was living like this, and it's for the first time that I've written this about staying here, about being half Romanian, half German, and how it is like to stay here when everyone goes.
Wow. Okay. So that's very, very personal, no? For the first time, you have decided to put yourself on stage in a way, right?
Yes, but it wasn't me who decided this. It's very funny, because I was commissioned to do this, and only after I've written the play, I realized, oh my God, I had to write this. But it wasn't me who decided. This is funny.
Life sometimes decides for us, right?
Right.
And Victor, picking up from this, you said no, a Western-based, Western European-based organization, Barcelona. We speak Catalan here. You were used to working, in a given environment. The possibility of working in a very diverse context with very diverse people, as we're hearing right now. And this is only, a very small segment of what has been going on in Fabulamundi. About this tolerance and identity, have you any thoughts on this?
Well, what I said before, that I found it really interesting to get to know what's going on in other countries, has to do with that. So, in fact, the fact of getting in touch with playwrights, and not only playwrights, also people, directors from theaters, from other countries, who understand theater and drama and writing for the stage in a different way as we do, is really, really, really enriching. So I've been working at Sala Beckett now for over 11 years. And one of the main focus from the very beginning has been international activities. Because it's really interesting to get to know how other countries see themselves, understand themselves, and understand the world from their point of view. That's really enriching, and sometimes it makes you change the way you understand yourself and you understand the world. And I think that's why we considered it's really important to put playwrights and people from different countries in contact, because by doing that, I think they enrich each other's ways of understanding the world, understanding culture, and understanding each other's identity. And I think that's the key part of these sort of projects. we always say when we have these international projects in which people from different nationalities meet for a few days, we always say that I would say it's almost as important as the workshop, is that after the workshop, they go to a bar together and they have some drinks and they exchange ideas and opinions. Because it's then we think when projects will come out and when they will be able to meet each other really, to get to know each other really. And so I think that's it. I think it's this human contact, which now it's so difficult. You meet friends, you meet people, and you cannot hug them, you cannot kiss them, you cannot touch them. This human contact, it's the most important part of this sort of projects.
Part of the importance of the project is the happy hour drinks that happen after the activities. As we were saying, you get 2 for 1 during a happy hour. We have some 10 minutes to go. Bear with me 1 second with what I'm going to say right now. And I want to come back to this dichotomy between the paradise that Bernhard talked about with Fabulamundi and this issue of tolerance, identity. And again, what struck me very much was the word, the end, the use of the term end in the title of the project. I don't know why my brain worked backwards. One of my favorite novelists, and apologies, is Edith Wharton. She's an American novelist, and one of her most famous books is The Age of Innocence, but which has to do indeed with the end from her personal point of view of a period in the society, in the American society of the end of the 19th century in which she lived as a woman. I would like to ask each of you, taking this, the end of tolerance, is it something that has to do with a loss of possible values of society as if we have known it until today? Yes, no? I mean, you don't have to develop very much on this, but I would very much appreciate your, your ideas and what this makes you think about when I mention this. Are we at the end of something and at the beginning of something else? Yes or no? Whoever wants to go, we have 11 minutes, so please.
No. Okay, I mean, it's impossible to really
it is
answer
impossible.
this question, but I found it very interesting listening to you, and I thought, okay, we had this idea about making the play The End of Tolerance the beginning of 2019, when inviting all these people to Vienna. I think now we would have had, there would have been another completely different co-writing project coming out of the new times we are in now. So I think at the moment, like as artists, we are in a very difficult situation as playwrights, especially because somehow we are losing our field. We don't know whether it will be ever possible to have a full theater for our plays again. So on the one hand, I see that we are losing something for sure, or maybe it's a very huge interruption or a huge break we all have to take, and maybe find some new ways of dealing with that. But on the other side, I think as artists or playwrights, that's our job. It's our job to deal with, as Elisa and Thomas said today. They are interested in society. They are interested in social behavior and try to work on that in their place. So that's our job. So that I think we will for sure, all of these European playwrights find ways to deal with the new situation. So I'm slightly optimistic, but I'm not really happy about. I don't think that we are in the beginning of a new era of something good. No. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Berhan. And Elise, can I ask you for a final thought?
So yes, as Bernard said, it's not something good, but I don't know, we have to accept this. And for instance, now I'm holding a workshop at Fabulamundi and everything is on Zoom, of course, because I couldn't travel to Rome. The good part is the participants are from many countries, otherwise they would have been just from Italy. And I said, I would like us to meet, to go after this, to a drink, to get each other better, but this is not possible now. And I always said, oh, I hate Zoom, I don't want to do this. But now I have to accept that maybe in the future, there will be a lot of Zoom talks and a lot of such workshops, and there will be not a beer after the meeting, and you get to know people only on Zoom and not know them personally. I, for instance, I cannot accept this, but I think I have to learn to accept this because this is the new future, in my opinion. And yes, we will change maybe our writing or maybe not, or our subjects, but it's just, I don't know, the beginning. I cannot say, I cannot predict, but I also feel like Bernhard said that it's not good, but let's hope I'm not right.
Bernhard, you want to say something?
No, I thought I just said it was a good point. You know, the last sentence of Elise was a good point. Let's hope that we are not right. You know,
it is. We have to make do with what we have. Thomas, maybe.
We have very nice. This is the first accident in civilization that whole world is arrested. Each people are arrested at home. You have to be at home. And in my opinion, Kafka in in Judge arrested only Joseph K. Yeah, and now we have very strange situation. We are arrested all of them. But I like the situation because I'm close to my family. And I see good things in the situation, yeah. And I couldn't come to, for example, to Academy of Theatre because it's forbidden. But I can talk by Zoom with my students, and my car don't make a pollution. And I made seven radio dramas in this time from March, and I wrote 2 plays, and yes, this is another situation. I don't miss to to meeting with people who lost our time. Yeah, I like this situation. I like this close my family. This is not a disaster in my life. This is an event. My life is an event. Excuse me.
Victor. What about you, Victor?
I've got quite mixed feelings. So on the one hand, I don't really like the situation we are going through. So I already said before that I miss quite a few things. And I'm not sure the decisions that are being imposed on us by governments are really the good ones. I'm not sure sometimes that they know what they are doing or what they have to do. Sometimes I get the feeling that they're basically taking some decisions because because society expects them to do so, but that they are not really sure about it. But so I'm not very happy with the current situation, but at the same time, I like to think that I'm quite optimistic. So I like thinking that this situation is going to pass, and that in a few months, in 1 year, we will go back to some sort of past normality, in which we'll be able to talk to people, in which we'll be able to hug and give hands and shake hands and talk to people, seeing each other's faces without any mask. At the same time, though, while we don't get to that point, I think that we have two things. We basically have two things to do. On the one hand, people who work at theaters have to work hard in order to ensure that playwrights can keep working and can keep seeing their work on a stage. And on the other hand, playwrights have a very important job, which is to see what's going on in society and to write plays in order to talk about this situation in an artistic way. I think that's what they have to do now, to talk about the current state of the world, and from there to create something new. And we, working in theaters, have to make sure that this work can be seen in museums, can be seen in theaters, can be seen on cinema, on TV, etc., etc., etc.
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure having you on board. I think you might shoot the messenger if I ask you one last thing, but it sticks to my mind. Fabulamundi, sorry Bernhard, I apologize for using again your term. Fabulamundi has somehow been paradise. Does paradise exist, Bernhard? Yes? No? One, yes, no?
Sorry. No, it's very tricky with paradises, you know. I mean, you know, you can be thrown out any time when you choose the wrong thing. So yeah, let's keep it let's keep it a paradise, I would say, you know, this Fabulamundi network, because it's that what Victor was saying before. That's what we have to do. The theaters and the playwrights, you know, continue working, continue to co-work, you know, create new possibilities. Maybe in this time, you know, how can new plays be staged? How can we bring together not only the national institutions, but still on an international level, like we did the years before. And I think if we keep this thing alive, like this whole Fabulamundi family somehow, it could be still a paradise, you know, somehow.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, all of you. Elise, Tomasz, Victor, Bernhard, it's been a pleasure to have you and to be able to talk to you these 60 minutes. Take care, and I hope to meet you sometime somewhere in person. Maybe in Calabria, Thomas, who knows?
Oh, yes. I need it. I need it. Hello, thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a nice
day. Pleasure to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.